pro-blacks take pride in that Lucy out of Africa evolution theory, because it says that we are the first. We're the first on the evolutionary chart. It's not a good thing to be the first on their evolutionary chart. That means you're closest to the primate, to Lucy. That means you're the least evolved out of all the races when it comes to their science and evolutionary chart. I rebuke their science, okay, and their history, their fake history they give us about my people, so-called Black Americans, okay, the real Americans, the first Americans. And I'm not talking about African Americans, okay? That's a whole different new breed, okay? Black Americans were their own race that spawned from the equator via spontaneous generation. Where a lot of indigenous people come from, nature, spontaneous generation. Our brown skin comes from the soil. Okay, we come from plants, nature, in some kind of way. Okay, I don't know the details, the expansive details. There's many different theories we can go into. My ancestors believed in spontaneous generation. We can go into, Creek or Blackfoot, ancient theology or folklore. I can pull some things up for you, okay? But yeah, I don't believe I come from a primate. So yeah, and all of y'all can F off. You can go evolve over there somewhere, but yeah, I just don't like using that word. We need to get far away from that and those theories. We've been lied to about a lot of things, and they don't want people like me bringing other theories to the table. We're looking at bringing old things to the table that wasn't settled, okay, like spontaneous generation, okay. I don't believe that they debunked the theory of spontaneous matter. Life can spring from non-living matter. We've seen it, okay, in a lot of different cases, but they want you to believe that we have to come from something. We can't be our own species. We can't be our own species. I believe humanity is their own species. We're our own species, and blacks don't all come from Africa. Different black groups sprung from different areas, and my group, which is we're pretty extinct, okay? I don't believe there are any true indigenous Americans anymore, okay? Like that. A lot of us have been whitewashed. The small hats, they took over the five civilized tribes. They all are small hats, okay? The ones that are the ones that are recognized, the Cherokee, that's a whole small hat tribe. Like, that whole tribe was taken over by small hats. Okay? They had their own little breeding thing, farms. The reservations were breeding farms. They would bring, the Mongolian on those reservations and give them new culture. Like, a lot of them, the Asians, okay, and okay, Latin American culture is fairly new, okay, less than 200 years old, because the Spanish, when they got here, they, under the Catholic order, the indigenous were rounded up, okay, and forced to marry the Spaniard, okay, and then the blackamoors that came around too, okay, they were coming from over there. They would bring blacks from other places and bring them to South Central America, mix in with the... Okay, most who have actually studied Latin American culture know that when the Catholic Church came, that's when the melting pot really happened here, okay? The melting pot was enforced when Rome came, okay? They both, the Spanish, the French, they want to say that they were all separated and had these wars and all that stuff, but they all were working together to pretty much take over this land regardless, okay? They had their own little sectors, but they were all working together to, whitewash us and breed us out, get us off this land, because there was a whole bunch of black indigenous people over here, okay? And then there were lighter tone tribes too, okay? Like, I'm not gonna just make this line and say that, oh, it was just blacky black, but I believe there were somewhat different ethnic groups in a way here, okay? Kind of look different. Like, okay, like, I'm gonna actually do a review on the story of the Chickamauga, the Chickasaw and the Chickamauga tribes, because it said that the Chickasaw and the Chickamauga, they emerged or sprung up around the same time in the same area, but one tribe was light-skinned white and the other had negroid features. One came from the mountains, and the others came from the mountains. For the most part, they coexisted in their area. Because I want to pull this video up for y'all, I'm going to do a review whenever I have the time. I got to pay for another Streamlabs subscription, so when I do that, I will be able to multi-stream on different platforms. My Twitter, I'm going to go live on Twitter and OF and all that. We're going to go deep into this. The Chickamauga and the Chickasaw, two indigenous American tribes that manifested here, okay, in America, in the same area, but one was light-skinned and had straight hair, and they came from the mountain, and the others came from inside the mounds, and they coexisted in one area until one day, I guess it was the foreigners that was pinning them against each other. They started going to war, something like that, or something that made them start going to war. But in their peace treaty, they came together. Some of them were able to mix, but they try to stay separate. Within their tribes, they took pride in not mixing, because they knew mixing would erase their original looks. So they stayed separate from each other, but coexisted. I believe that there were light and dark-skinned tribes, light-skinned tribes that actually did look close to white, like white European people. And I think this was their motherland also. Like, it was our motherland. We all materialized here on this land. Like, I don't believe Europe is the land of the whites. I don't believe Africa is the land of the blacks. I don't believe I don't believe Asia was just the land of the slanty-eyed, the chingy-eyed person. I don't believe that area. I don't believe certain land masses is the origins of certain races. Like, I believe certain groups sprung in different areas. There were blacks that sprung in small pockets of Europe. Small pockets. I'm not even going to say it was large pockets. And, their features would say there wasn't of African origin, because they had like more bigger European skulls and their nose. They were just darker skinned European or Caucasian people. That's how I kind of see North Africans and like Arabic dark skinned people. They're not black like us. Like, I see them as darker toned Caucasian people. And even Africans on the Horn of Africa, they have Caucasian skulls and features. Even though, Kenyans are very dark and probably can't grow much hair, they share a lot of similarities to Caucasians in a lot of ways when it comes to their skull and skull shape and size. North Africans they're a totally different breed from those of the Central and South and West Africans. And yes, Black Americans was a whole different breed until we let foreign small hat European people start educating us and start opening up the floodgates and bringing some of these foreigners here to mix with us, okay? And that's what really bred us out and got this whole mass confusion thing going on with my people. I believe people who believe they're African Americans should go back to their motherland and fix their motherland. There's no reason for y'all to be here anymore. Your only reparations or form of reparations you're going to get from the American government is a plane ticket to Africa. I mean, it's just going to be Liberia 2.0. That's what this American government is all about, okay? They already tricked you into believing this lie that you're African. Some of y'all are African, for real. Some of y'all did mix with some of these Africans that came in the 60s. And then, there were a small pocket of Africans that came here in the late 1800s. I believe, some did come to Florida in Alabama and Mississippi in a small amount. Y'all don't understand. A lot of us really wasn't African. There were blacks here that they were able to subdue and Christianize and turn into slaves. And that's what they did. And then they redefined what slavery was. Okay, for certain individuals. For certain individuals, it was just like field labor work. You were just working and you had your own plot of land and you had to get this certain amount. If you didn't get this certain amount to pay over your debt, then you probably would get stringed up on a tree and get evicted. Okay? There were indentured servants that came from Europe that actually lived within these homes with some of these European small hats. Okay? They were getting beat up, whipped, raped, but that wasn't everybody and everybody's ancestors. All of our ancestors were not getting, raped by Europeans. Okay? A lot of these Europeans saw us as different breeds and did not want to touch us. Okay? Except the ones that were, had weird fetishes